And we're live. Hello.
We are live. Excellent. Well, you do the introduction, so I wait.
I do the intro. Well, you're the DM.
You
but,
are always doing the introduction. You know that's your job.
On the podcast, maybe, but not on
We've
this.
had this arrangement for a long time. Come on, guy.
All right. Well, we're back with a new
Don't make me introduce
RPG.
my own game. Yeah.
We're back with a new RPG with some people that have been on streams before, plus one new person, and other people will be joining and coming through in the future. I guess that's the plan. But we're playing. I won't pronounce it properly, but Aquelarre.
Aquelarre.
Aquelarre. Okay.
I can take it. I can take it from here, since Spanish words will be pronounced and things will be butchered.
Get ready for a lot of mispronunciations. Yeah.
Yes, here we go. Spanish people, please, I do apologize on behalf of all of these giddies who unfortunately don't know any better. But welcome indeed to our very first game of Aquelarre. A few bits of preliminary info, both for players and potential people who may be watching at home, so you understand what's happening today and what shenanigans these very silly people have allowed me to concoct. Because honestly, you gotta be quite silly to allow me to get away with this. They could have, as a preamble, they could have gotten away with being powerful vampires and, doing some cool stuff there and even a cool superhero campaign. But no, they decided to essentially just be normies in the Spanish Middle Ages. P.S. I have a PhD in medieval history and I'm Spanish. You're all welcome. So, Aquelarre is actually one of the very first RPGs that were ever published and done in Spain. In fact, my second edition of the game is from the early 2000s. And it is all about being a normal human being in the Spanish Middle Ages, but in a world where supernatural things sometimes also happen. So that's the general background. For the purpose of this story, we have 5 characters. Only 4 of them are joining today. And they are all starting in the year 1350 in the town of Santander, which is where I come from. You're welcome, Cantabria, in the very north of Spain. Santander at this moment in time is actually pretty much one of the most important port towns of the Kingdom of Castile, which is one of the many factions that happen to be around Spain in the Middle Ages. And as such, it attracts peoples from all over the world, Mediterranean or otherwise, with all sorts of businesses. The job of the party today and for the foreseeable future is to survive medieval life without, being eaten by a demon. Although, to be fair, you're 3 times more likely to be killed by cholera in this game or malnutrition than an actual demon. So you can kind of understand the general vibe of the game. And now, without any further ado, let's see who is playing today. So, if you guys would like to take rounds introducing yourselves and your characters so that everybody can actually know what you're all about, that would be great. Please don't fight for the first spot. Be easy going.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go, James.
Okay, sure. So I'm James. I'm gonna be playing as Gusti Spinner, which is basically the house of a seagull. A very vicious maritime bird, so lots of even the bravest with fear. I am a pirate / kind of mercenary captain who mostly just favours ambushing foes through deceit and playing kind of stranded help me person, and then turning the tables and attacking them. So very, very typical of what you'd expect from a seagull as well. Up to the family name. My father was also a very successful mercenary captain and pirate, but he started amassing a wealth, brought into high society, and keeps himself very popular and relevant by being the kind of go-to guy when other elites and nobles kind of want people disappearing or accidents to happen. I grew up kind of around Sicily, a little bit of the Adriatic. Kind of learned about my love for sea. Realised I'm definitely not quite cut out for high society. Because I tried horse riding, landed on my head, and I was in a coma for 6 months. So when I was 16, I joined the mercenaries and kind of became quite a good commander, turned pirate myself. And I also thought, well, I'm not an heir to my family's wealth, so screw them. But the last bounty I tried to do turned out to be against mercenaries who actually hired to hunt me. Really turned out really well, so I'm kind of lying low.
Mhm.
And that's why he's in Cantabria, because for the sake of context, Catalunya, which is where he comes from right now, is actually in a different kingdom, and these two kingdoms are often quite at war. So, there you go. The Spanish Middle Ages for you, everybody. Better than Game of Thrones.
Uh-huh.
Next
Okay.
player, take the
Guess
wheel.
I'm on the list next in the game, so I will introduce myself next. I will be playing Enrique Yanes de Tomar. I'm actually from Portugal, not from anywhere in Spain itself, but close enough. I am a traveling troubadour. I don't actually play much music myself. I mostly gather legends and stories and write them down and make poems and songs out of them, and then pay someone else to play it. Although I'm not bad at music abilities myself. I grew up in Tomar. That's where I'm from. That's the headquarters of the Knights Templar in Portugal, who later became the Order of Christ once the Templars got disbanded in most of the rest of Europe.
Killed, disbanded.
Yeah. Although in Portugal they had a safe haven because the king was good buddies with them. So my father is still a well-respected old knight of the order, around since Templar times, around 30 years ago, as we're playing now. I kind of have rebelled from the family a bit. I'm not as religious or as into all those things. I was raised by the order and by nuns of the order, so I had a good education and I took advantage of that, and then left on my travels and going and seeking my own adventures. And now I'm in Santander in the north of Spain, just having a look around, seeing what's up here.
Cool. Next.
Guessing if we're going down the list, that's me.
Uh-huh.
So I'm Mike, and I'll be playing Ignacio, who is a native of Santander, a shortish, scrawny guy who just about scrapes a living as a barber surgeon. Not entirely sure what he would be doing hanging out with this bunch of reprobates, as he is a fairly law-abiding type. Nothing suspicious at all, just him and a cat trying to scrape a living in Santander, really.
Don't worry,
Yes.
I'll tell you exactly what you're doing with this bunch of reprobates. And finally...
So, I did drama years ago, and yeah, I'm still crap at this.
This is the way it goes.
My character is called Luz. They are a 19-year-old ridiculously skinny thief. Super boring from the place that we're in, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
My backstory mainly is that my family has too many kids and I ended up being the scrawny one that they didn't feed. So I've kind of stormed off and I've decided to pave my own future in the most grumpy way possible. And my family is soldier and military base, so just trying to rebel as much as possible. So I'm also now in Santander.
Yeah.
Just trying to steal from people and cause as much mischief as possible.
Cool.
Because what says rebellion better than mischief and crime? Yay!
Yay.
Excellent. Well, let me tell you what is happening. By the way, for those of you interested, and in case you actually want to culturize yourself, the beautiful background that you are just seeing right now is a painting called Aquelarre by Goya, who is one of the best Spanish painters of all time, not of the Middle Ages, of course. But the very nature of the word Aquelarre, which actually comes from the Basque, means pretty much like a witch cult and worshipping the devil. So that's kind of where the whole vibe of this setting goes. Now, without any further ado, please let me take you to the town of Santander. Da-da-da-da-da. We're changing backdrops.
Oh, yes. I thought you were going to get this picture.
Yeah. So this is more or less, there is a more detailed map that I'm going to show you guys in just a moment, but this is where we are. So Santander is a lovely medieval town in the north of Spain, currently one of the main ports for the Crown of Castile. And at this moment in time, we have a population of no more than about 2,000 inhabitants. There is a total of about 18 streets in the town, so just so you get an idea. The town is split in two cities, the old city, which is where you see the sort of port area, the castle, and the main church, which will later on become the cathedral. Then you have a little bridge, and then over is the new town, which is mostly residential and still surrounded by our huge wall. At the time, it would have been well over a kilometer, nearly 2. So it's not the largest place, but it's pretty big. There are a few roads that connect Santander with the main central plains of Spain, mostly with the area of Castile, and then farther down south. But this town currently is super important for the trade of cloth with the Netherlands. This is the moment in time when Castile has actually managed to properly kick off England from this trade game. So there is a lot of people coming through this town. There is lots of opportunities for business, and there is a lot of opportunities for going anywhere, which is the reason why James's character Agustí would have been here. He essentially came over there looking for a foreign land that was not the Spanish Levant and preferably far away from the people who may have been wanting to, kill him, and reached Santander trying to find prosperous new opportunities, but also in a place that is far enough from the Mediterranean coast that wouldn't be, much of an issue. In terms of how everyone else has gotten here, well, Luz and Ignacio are locals from here, so that's where you would be living. Both of you would have your normal residences in the new town. I will show you where that is in a moment. And Alex, I believe you would have already arrived here since you're a troubadour, as a matter of fact, just for the sake of, discovering new places and doing your business, which is at the end of the day how you make money. Because you have reasons to make money, don't you, Alex? Don't you have things to pay for on a monthly basis?
Oh, yeah. I have an illegitimate child that I have to pay for, apparently.
Yes.
That's
Pension.
what happens when you
You're
travel
welcome.
around and maybe drink a bit too much or something. I don't know.
Probably indeed. So that's the idea. Now, you're all probably not together at the moment in time when this is all going to happen. For the record, the day when we're playing is the 30th of March of the year 1350. And Alex, Freddy, I think you both have enough backstory that you could probably know each other and be together already if you wanted to.
Yeah, we were
Mike,
saying we've met before.
Mike and James, I'll tell you in just a moment how and where you are, because we're changing backdrops once again. So
Nice.
here at the top, you guys have like a front view, a bit more detailed of what the city actually looks like. So you have a better idea of how the streets kind of go and whatnot. And here, since there is no actual proper map of Spain, Santander in the Middle Ages, I've been doing work with Google to actually get this going.
Nice.
So from an aerial view, starting from the bottom half, everything that you see in the black is the city wall. Everything that is outside of the city wall, the blue is obviously the ocean. So there you go. The little anchor there, and that side of the blue is actually the docks. Then on the left-hand side of the black wall, you have two areas. An area that is surrounded in yellow, that is the medieval arrabal, and that actually means it's the sort of suburban area right outside of the walls of the city. Although traditionally these places are perceived to be for the poor, in the case of Santander, this is different. This is the area of Rua Mayor, which literally means the Rua is another word for street, and Mayor means major. So as you can imagine, a big important place, and actually some of the wealthiest families in town, like the Escalantes, live in this area. So not so for the poor. On the other side of the wall, just a little bit further up, you can actually see a structure that has a cross in the middle. That is the Franciscan convent. There is actually another convent in town, already inside the city wall on the north edge of the city, the patch in the sort of teal. That is the convent of Santa Clara. For those of you who have actually visited me, which is at least Alex, James, and Mike, that is just around the corner from where I live. So you guys have actually been in this part of the city in actual reality. The rest of that quadrant of the city, all of that is mostly just urban spaces for houses and shops. So there is nothing really else worth noting there, apart from the yellow sign right at the bottom, which is where the tax collection office is. Very important, just at the place where the River Bethel joins in with the sea. The icon with the sort of interrogation mark is where the bridge is. Since the city is cut off in two, the only place that you can use to cross from one place to the other is the bridge. And that area contains three important buildings for you guys. The red area with the little hammer, that's the area of Atarazanas. That's essentially the shipyard. So there is often quite a lot of work happening in there and a lot of hassle. And then there is the two other most important buildings in the town. The place that you see there with the purple, that is the main church, and that is actually a collegiate church at the moment when we are playing. That contains the what's it called? Remains of two martyrs, Saint Emeterius and Saint Celedonius, the founding fathers of Santander, since their martyr heads from Roman times appeared in the bay at some point, if you believe the story. And next to it is the castle, El Castillo de San Felipe, who will actually be the most important defense of the city. And that's kind of it. Everything else is just basic residential. So, it is about noon. You are all minding your own business around the city, and you start hearing bells ringing quite loudly. Now, as you know, medieval life is very much following certain standards of times, and bells are only really used to call for either prayers or when something happens. So the fact that you're starting to hear bells ringing and at a quite somber tone makes you think that some stuff's going on. For those of you who would be bimbling around the street, you actually see a lot of people heading over the bridge towards the area of the main church.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of commotion, lots of people sort of whispering and talking to each other, shocked and whatnot.
Oh, well, I must see what the commotion's about and write it down. Lewis, find us a shortcut there.
I'm gonna roll my eyes at you and nod.
Very-
I'll be your guide.
Very willing, I see. Very, very willing.
I'll
Okay.
stick my head out of the shop door and just have a look at what's happening. And is it at all local to me?
Not really. You're on the other side of the river, so
right.
yeah.
I'll move back in.
I'm gonna kind of see what the commotion's about as well and head over.
Cool. You would be in one of the local taverns not far away from the river, James, so that would
Yeah,
actually be quite simple for you.
I'm kind of half drunk, so I'm just like, it sounds like a party.
That's fine. Okay, great. And Mike, did you say you're also heading that way, or you
No,
staying in
I-
your shop?
I was staying in the shop, given that it's fairway. I don't see any point shutting the shop up.
Oh,
There could be hunters.
what a bad
Time is money.
Christian you are.
Yeah,
My
there could be
goodness me.
thieves about.
Yeah. Well, in the meanwhile, let me just grab some water. You guys get to the center of town, and you see that there is actually an official from the Crown of Castile. And this man is actually quite very well dressed, and it seems to be quite in a hurry. you reckon he probably hasn't had a proper night's sleep for several days of ride, and probably hasn't eaten or had a bath in a long, long time. It very much looks to you like this man is coming from the war right now, because still has many different fronts open. Not that you would notice here up north in Santander, because you are so far removed from any potential border that it would simply be, nonsensical for you to even think that the world is at war. But down south, the war wages still against the Muslim, Christian kingdoms, everything else that is down there that Castile particularly doesn't want under their control. To the point that the king actually was involved in battle. And the news that are being brought to you are as follows. Citizens of Santander, I bring very grave news. Our dear King Alfonso has perished under the siege of Gibraltar. The plague has taken him. A big commotion goes.
Oh.
Gasp. Rumors of the plague have been isolating this town for quite some time. You guys were lucky to actually have been able to pass it without many issues. But about 10 years ago, Santander was quite an infested town, and the vast majority of people that you probably knew would have died. This is obviously just relevant for Luz and Ignacio at this moment in time. You're lucky to be survivors in many ways, because you were also, babies pretty much when this was all happening. But the plague is something that all of you would be familiar with.
Yeah.
Particularly those of you who are travelers, and in fact both of you, Agustín and Enrique, you would have been denied entrance to certain places throughout your journeys in the last couple of years because of further outbreaks of the plague. So the news that the king has died in battle and because of plague is really, really bad. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this king so you can understand the commotion that this is about to cause. Alfonso XI, King of Castile and Leon, actually passed over to history as El Justiciero, the Avenger. He had quite a good reputation for strengthening the power of the House of Castile, and because, for those of you who don't know much about this period of history, Castile is a country made of smaller countries, and therefore there's constant civil war, pretty much, like from the 11th to the 14th century. They're at each other's throats 24/7. I genuinely am not joking with the Game of Thrones type of reference. So the fact that Alfonso genuinely managed to rein things in and keep it under control was really impressive and really important. Thanks to this and the, international relationships, he actually manages to he becomes a very popular king. He will actually establish not very bad connections with places such as England, and even with France over a period of time. It will be relatively quiet. So he's been quite good for Santander for sure, and for the rest of Castile. He has a reputation, however, for being a man that very much liked not sleeping with his own wife. And in fact, there is quite a big commotion, which you, Alex, probably would privy to, not everyone else, about the fact that he actually has had more children that are illegitimate than legitimate because of another lady of the court who actually has quite a lot of power, Doña Eleanor of Guzman. So there are a fair few issues now that you are aware of this, what will become of the situation of this succession. So everyone seems to be in commotion now.
Whoa.
The messenger follows and announces that in Castile already the process is going ahead, so that Maria of Portugal, the wife of the king, is assisting their very young son, Pedro el Primero, who is barely 14 years old, to become the new king and run the country accordingly. And that's as far as the messenger can say. The king is dead. Long live the king. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. So as a matter of fact, because of this, there will be special prayers going on in every single church in town to pray for the soul of Alfonso so it doesn't remain in purgatory and can find its safe passage onto heavens. As you can imagine, everyone in town is literally just going like crazy. And I mean
Yeah.
cuckoo crazy, because this is big news. So, with the knowledge that you guys have just acquired, what would you like to do?
Well, this looks like the start of some chaos. Lucrative times in your line of work, Luz, I'm sure.
You need to hold me back. So many distracted people.
Well, I'm sure I'll find plenty of interesting moments in the next few years to write about as well.
Are you gonna want to take advantage of the crowd for any particular reason, or are you just gonna move on
I'm
to
just
your other
standing back
businesses?
and watching.
You should definitely hold me back.
I'm observing.
There is literally lots of coming and going. You see that the messenger actually ends up lingering around. He's clearly talking with the church officials, and everything else that will happen from this moment on will happen behind closed doors at the abbey. So the people will eventually disperse, but it will take a good half an hour to an hour for that to take place.
Uh-huh.
James,
Uh,
in your drunken state.
yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of like swaying about, going, "Oh shit,
Ooh.
I need a drink." I'm also like, because it is so busy, I'm also kind of like keeping a weary eye around just to make sure that there's no one like side eyeing me.
Mm-hmm.
I would
A weary
never.
Yeah.
You're very tired then.
He is, because he's drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I'm kind of tempted as well to try and pickpocket because there's obviously some money. I'm also kind of like,
If you want to, please go ahead. I will not impede you from doing this. I have
would
just the.
I do it when I'm drunk? Really?
Are you asking me?
I'm
Might
trying to
modify
think what my
things.
character do.
Because
Like
the
my
DM
hair
will
on
tell you, sure, go for it.
ignite my hair, then I do it. What do I got to click?
So what are you
What
trying
do I
to
roll?
do?
So I'm just gonna like
You're just
for
gonna
someone
straight up
that, look
pickpocket.
for someone that's particularly kind of affected by this and kind of like go up to them.
There is
actually,
a sleight of hand
I'm
skill.
gonna Jack Sparrow it. I'm gonna Jack Sparrow. I'm gonna look for like a woman who's particularly upset by it and go and console her.
All right, then please roll an empathy check first of all to see if you can actually find that person.
Sure.
So, how does the rolling work when you have no
Yes.
skill in an ability?
So
Or how does rolling work in general?
There are little
click
buttons
on the
next to the abilities.
icon side of the.
you should have filled these with whatever you have, which is just your basic
Oh,
perception.
I didn't think they got basic. So I thought that was what a secondary skill
No,
set.
I asked.
Yeah. Oh, James, is empathy not something that you have? Because if you don't have empathy, then forget about it.
Can I still try and does it still like just take a roll? Can you still like get really lucky?
I mean,
and-
technically speaking, all of the abilities don't start at 0. They start at 0.1. So yes, but you will need to, technically speaking, put a 1 in there and actually roll a 1. And if you roll a 1, then it will be a critical hit and a success.
Yeah, because I was wondering, like, are we able to roll things if we don't have skill in them?
Ah.
Yeah.
Sorry, my roll 20 is taking a moment.
I rolled a 26.
Yeah, I don't think you are doing that. Never mind. Good try, though. So,
Tried.
yep. You don't find anyone that you can establish to be that desperate. And therefore, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it completely blind. But I'm not entirely sure you actually have anything in sleight of hand.
If the prey's not obvious, I'm back.
Nope. Nope.
We're going for it.
Huh?
We're going for it. What do you mean by nope?
No, the prey is definitely not obvious at all. So.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm gonna just hold back then.
Cool. Awesome. Well, the crowd eventually disperses and you guys are very free to do with the rest of your day as you may. In the meantime, Mike, as you are in your shop, you actually hear someone that is coming in to just grab a few of the bits and bobs that you prepare for them, telling you that the king is dead. Have you
I
heard?
don't know what the Spanish for "well, bugger me" is, but
El
Mm,
Buggerino.
I can give you a variety of them. I guess it depends the
Uh,
degree of verbal aggression that you want to go with. Because in
just aggression,
Spanish,
just,
the general swearing is a matter of how hardcore you want to be about it.
I just expression of surprise. How did it happen?
The plague. While sieging Gibraltar, it just caught the plague.
So not round here then.
No, goodness, no.
Good. Well, bad for him, obviously. But at least we don't have plague round here anymore.
No, for sure. By the way,
Well,
guys,
yeah.
you do have your basic points in your abilities. You just don't
Okay.
have any. You just don't have any extra. I think maybe that's where we've gone a bit confused. You don't have any
Okay.
extra.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have the attribute scores. in
Yeah.
our
So the
Uh.
attribute scores do count.
Right.
Okay. Because I thought that's what the secondary skills were.
Yeah.
I guess that was on top of.
Yes.
Okay, so certain things should be higher
So-
then.
Yes.
So we should add our attributes to our second skill.
Yeah. Always.
Right. I'll do that.
Yeah.
In any case.
I'll cross that bridge when I come to rolling, I think.
In any case, yes, no plague that they are aware of here. Although, of course, he's not sure where the messenger for the king has come from, so who knows? But definitely should keep an eye out.
I'll thank him for letting me know.
And he wants his bits.
I'll serve him and gleefully take his money.
As you're just having this conversation, he also tells you, by the way, and he sort of looks around and is like, nah, don't worry, this is such a stupid thing to ask. And he sort of looks back at you again. He's like, nah, it's okay.
What?
It's just, he kind of looks around as if there is someone else in the shop.
No, there's
Can
no one
I-
else here. Yeah.
Can I ask you
Yeah?
for something a bit,
A bit private.
yeah.
What is it you need?
Let's just say that you knew somebody who was in really grave danger. Would you have anything that could cure that? Say, for example, say you actually knew someone who had just contracted the plague. Would you have anything? It's just, I'm not from the city. I come to the city for work, but where I'm from, there's people. The old women say that all you need to do is just catch a ramidreju, and with the skin maybe. I don't know. It's just forget it. Forget it. He sort of just knocks on the table, gives you a wave, and he leaves.
Well, I shall sort of flop down onto my stool and turn to Parches and said, "Well, it's a strange one, wasn't it, that girl?"
The
Time
cat
for lunch?
actually meows at you.
Of course.
And can you please roll your irrationality, please?
Uh-oh. It's starting.
Reality is 6. So
Nice.
I've rolled a critical, I believe.
Wow.
Is that good?
Wow, really good.
Or bad? Or what?
Yes,
She's a fine cat.
as you are doing this, you kind of get the impression that the cat is trying to tell you that you really should look into the thing that this guy has just mentioned, like
Okay.
persistently.
You know what, Parches? I think we've got to go and have a word with him. I'll go to the door, and if he's still in the street, I'll just see if I can friendly sort of call him back.
Roll either a track or a spot, some form of perception roll that may allow you to do this.
Track. So, only 32. 26.
Not bad. And you can see him. He's moving actually along the crowd quite quickly. But as you do that, 1 second. What are the rest of you doing in the meantime?
I was observing the crowd and just looking for any interesting goings on.
Well, the crowd has pretty much
Once
just
that's-
dispersed by now, so...
Once that's dispersed, yeah, I'm gonna, I don't know, keep looking around. Head back to the, I don't know, like the dock area.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Freddy,
I should
James?
follow, considering I'm
Yeah, I'm paying you like
employment.
paying you like one coin per
1
week.
coin a day. Per week. Wow, that's pretty low, man.
Yeah, that's just
This
mean.
mean. This is straight up mean. All right, that's fine. Well, in order to go to that area, you can either, well, really go to the far back of the wall and walk along the wall, or catch a little boat from the other side of the river and then go to the dock directly. It's entirely up to you.
I'll take the scenic route, long way around.
Okay, cool.
Am I
And
carrying
James?
all your stuff as well?
No,
When I got back
I don't
to
have a
the-
lot of stuff. I travel light.
I've kind of gone back to the inn that I was at, or the tavern that I was at,
Cool.
and,
Well, let's
more about my situation.
as you are walking by, you would see this man that just comes out of a shop and sort of seems to be looking for somebody. And Mike, you see this guy who kind of looks at you concerned because you're looking for somebody, as well as the person that you're looking for, which keeps on moving away into the distance.
I'll call over to the guy and say, "Hola, friend. Hola, amigo."
Is that similar
Con
to the other
Dios!
guy?
Yeah, you look like you're looking for something or someone. Maybe I can help.
I'll describe the
notice-
guy.
You notice very quickly that this man has a particularly thick accent, and you can tell straight away that he's not from around these parts. You reckon he's from
Definitely.
Catalonia.
Oh well, takes all sorts. Somebody has to be.
Maybe I can be of help.
I'll describe the person
Big
that's
point.
just left the shop and say, trying to catch up with him. Has he passed you by any chance?
Yeah, he has actually.
You don't know that, but please roll a memory
No, I-
roll to see if you actually remember that.
Can we just go with it?
Okay, fine.
Oh,
will allow it.
He has. No way he went.
Well, I'll
Are you-
attempt to catch him up if.
Well, I'll. My memory's a little phasy. I'm sure I can. I'm sure I can remember which way you went for a couple of pieces of gold.
Seriously?
Can I? I'll have a good look round, see if I can spot him, rather than pay this chancer.
Yeah, of course.
You're not going to catch him here, mate. Have you seen the crowds?
I take it that's
Okay.
tracking
Yes, it is tracking.
again. Yep.
Wow, okay, Mike, you're determined. So, are you gonna lock the shop behind you?
Yes.
Okay. Are you taking the cat with you?
I'll leave her inside.
Okay, that's fine.
Still, with the door locked.
You hear a
No. I'll be back
and
soon.
then you go.
Yep.
Fair enough. Cool.
Try and catch the guy up.
Awesome. Well, you do this.
Actually, when I go back to lock the door, I will just grab a simple concoction of herbs. You know, one of the jars off the shelf.
Okay. Brilliant. Excellent. James, are you gonna do anything else with this interaction?
I'll follow the guy. I said, "Hey, no,
Okay.
you're going the right way. Actually, I'll come with you."
So
in case
you're
you need
going
help.
the same way. Okay, cool. So now you're gonna have some company, Mike, while this is
that?
happening.
I'll check my roll eyes skill.
Okay. This happens. You guys get to about where the bridge is, and you need to take a turn on the next one up right. But you eventually catch the guy just on a area that is not so crowded. So you're welcome to shout at him or whatever.
Yeah, I'll call out friendly fashion, not in a kind of oi you. Sort of an excuse me, sir, kind of.
Because you think you're from anywhere other than Puerto Chico, and therefore you have manners. You're a lowly townsfolk that was raised by a mariner. You speak in the same way that I talk in Spanish, loud and clear.
I'm talking in the manner of someone that might actually want to get a customer here and get some money.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, well, you call out. Would you like to try and remember the name of your customer, or are you gonna wing it?
I would.
Good. Okay. If you can actually roll your memory, yes, that would be mighty useful.
No, for once I have failed.
Just can't remember. You think it may have been...
Senor.
may have been Angel.
We are
Perhaps Arturo.
We are decimating Spanish right now.
You are not sure. So you just start shouting, Señor, señor, caballero, escúcheme. Yep. And eventually he turns around. And he sort of waves at you and asks if he left something at the shop.
No, it's more, I've got something for you after our little conversation. And
he looks at you and he sort of he looks around and he says, come with me, quickly.
Okay, I'll go with him quickly.
Okay. Are you gonna follow them, James? James.
You have gone quiet. Oh no.
No.
Hello.
Are you following them?
Dropped out there a sec.
That's alright. Are you following them?
Hello?
Okay, we'll get back to James eventually. Never mind.
That was me. Yeah, sorry, you dropped out. Yes, I'm following them. Yeah.
Cool. No problem. Well, I'll get back to you guys as you enter a dodgy-looking inn, just somewhere in the back of the main street, La Calle del Mar. Meanwhile, the two people going down to the port.
Yeah.
They're taking the scenic route. Okay, well, let's move you
around the edge.
Move you towards the port. Now, please, everybody, forgive me because due to other games, Alex is actually completely terrified of any time that I mention the sea, ships, or anything whatsoever. And therefore,
as long as I'm on land, it's fine.
The vast majority of medieval paintings of the sea include monsters, which also causes him flashbacks to a previous life. So this is a completely fictional depiction of what the Bay of Santander would look like, which, to be fair, although fictional, is not that far removed from the reality of events.
I feel like I saw clips like that.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like I remember a lighthouse and a similar outcropping to that.
Yeah, exactly.
I climbed many stairs to get to.
Yeah. Not bad. So, you're here by the dock. You can see several big ships around here, both for the sake of trade, some others that are clearly military ships as well. There's smaller boats from fishermen that are coming and going, but the vast majority of the fishermen's labor for the day is already done. They leave pretty early, pretty much at first light, and then they carry on. So it is not as busy as it would have been first thing in the morning, but plenty of people running around for sure. So, what'd you like to do?
I don't know.
Because you seemed very determined to come here for a particular reason.
I'm just looking for any interesting goings on, any activity. I've been kind of slightly riled up by the morning's news, and now I'm just looking for any offshoots from that. Any reactions to that?
Just the usual. You can roll for a perception check and see if you hear people mutter something or another.
Yeah. Any
yeah.
more news?
Go for it.
What? How do I? What's roll perception?
You can roll for listen. You can roll for track. That depends what
Okay.
thing you think
I'll
you're
do
gonna be
listen.
looking at. You can roll for empathy and sort of try to read people to figure out who may be more, willing to tell you something or another.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do listen.
Okay.
And that's 54 over 35.
So that's unfortunately a nope. Well, you listen a lot of, bird noises and the movement of the actual ships when they are docked and general shouting and screaming, but that's about it. You don't catch anything more than that. It seems weird to you because the political situation in Portugal has actually been a lot more stable than in Castile for a long time. So you would expect, big reactions and whatnot from this. But the people of Castile are so used to kings coming and going and things being in war and not working that frankly, particularly in a town like Santander, which is, although, with an emerging bourgeois, still very much a, commoners type of town, nobody seems to care, Another day, another dollar, or in this case, another day, another crown. So it is kind of that.
I was hoping for some more panic. That's a shame. Oh well.
People, what can I say? Us Northerners are quite unfazed by shit like this.
Well, I can't imagine what it'd be like back home if our king died in such a sudden manner. But there we go.
Well, people will go say their prayers, and they will move on. Yeah. So, what else? What else can you expect?
All right. Well, I'm gonna head back into town to wherever I'm staying then, and take it easy.
Cool. Cool. Luth, are you going with him, or?
I'm being paid.
It's all right. It's all right, Luth. You're dismissed for the rest of the day.
Oh.
Should you wish to be.
If you're going to the inn, let me know, because I will take you all to the inn.
Yeah. I'll follow. I like you enough that I'll stick around.
Oh, really? Okay, well, that's nice to know.
Okay.
It's
good to know I've still got the charm.
You're paying me.
Yes, no, I know I'm a very charming fellow, don't worry.
If I get you drunk...
I don't think there is anything to do with your charm. I think it's more to do with your purse, personally, but I could
Purse,
be wrong.
charm, interchangeable.
I mean, no, you're so great.
For sure. Well, let me...
And that's how the phrase "once more with feeling" was created.
Nice.
Okay, so now you are in the inn.
Wouldn't know the king just died, would you?
No, of course. Things carry on. Mike, James, I'm gonna say, for the sake of obvious narrative purpose, that you were here beforehand. And this guy sort of pulls you to the back corner of the inn and has a chat with you, Mike. James sort of just seems to be following you around like a bad smell. So I'll let you decide how you're gonna sort that out.
I'm concerned. This fellow is now paying me to be their escort.
Are you now?
What?
Is that what you actually think is happening?
Not an escort in the, yeah, I'm now his bodyguard until...
Sorry,
right.
You are whose bodyguard?
Look.
I'm a barber surgeon. I may introduce you to the term preventative medicine.
No. Still said I'll follow you around if you pay me.
I'm not paying you.
You may have wanted to make that a bit more clear before you ran off. Stragglers this day, they will find any reasons to,
As far as I'm concerned, I've just gained a stalker.
Yes, probably.
I think he's setting up a one-man protection racket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the man pulls you to the side. James, are you just gonna literally sit by like a bad smell, or what you gonna do? Okay, let's see if Mike's friend, client, whatever, decides that there is something shifty about this or not. He could be perfectly cool with this.
I will say to the client, "Is he with you?"
He's completely clueless. He's like, no, I thought it was with you. You're not together?
No.
Oh.
They followed me
Oh,
home.
this is awkward.
I can be with you. I can be with him. I can be with anyone.
That's not a great advert.
The man
the
kind of
court.
goes like, well, maybe leave him be just
What
for
kind
now,
of
because
escort?
he may be kind of useful for what I have to tell you.
Okay, well, tell
Okay.
away.
Well, he tells you of the following. In the region of Cantabria, which is, for those of you who don't know, a relatively small region in the north of Spain, mostly isolated for having, the sea on one end and particularly tall mountains on the other, there is a lot of rural communities. In fact, other than Santander, the vast majority of the area is essentially villages and more villages. And as such, there is a lot of colorful stories and tales that come through, every so often. So this man is going to proceed to tell you one of these stories. He asks you if you've ever heard of a creature known as the Ramidreju. Now, both of you are now allowed to use your culture to see if you can actually figure out what the hell he's talking about. So if you want to either roll a knowledge of animals or legends, you're very welcome to do so.
Legends being
Legend.
equal to culture.
Yep, I don't care either way, so roll whatever you... Well, Jackal,
Yeah.
so never mind. James?
But it's official.
80 set. Do I? And then you add your thing.
Well, yeah, but I don't think your base skill is gonna really make it any better than that, so
11, so it'd be 20.
I'm confident it's a fail still. Well, you kind of look at each other, like if you are supposed to know anything about this creature. The guy says, well, it's okay. I come from the villages, so, this is not that surprising. He tells you the following. The Ramidreju is I guess, mythological-like animal specific to Cantabria. And you know this, James, because you're not from here, but this definitely sounds like a here kind of thing. It's not something that you've traveled far and wide. It's not something that you've heard in other places. And the legend kind of goes that every 100 years, a what is it called? Is it a mongoose? Yeah, a mongoose and a weasel sort of mate together, and a special new type of creature, Ramidreju, comes through. It's very, very long and thin, and their skin is of like a deep velvety green or black with like deep velvety green stripes. Their eyes tend to be of a very bright yellow color, and their face is more like that of a little hog rather than actually a weasel or a mongoose. So it's a very strange creature, but with that sort of face is kind of what allows him to I guess burrow underground and sort of live like if he was underground type of mammal instead. This all sounds very wacky to you guys, but then he proceeds to tell you that there is no specific place where this thing has been, found. It's just known in different parts in the region. But the reason why a lot of people recently have been going quite crazy for it, because since the Black Death, of course, there has been a higher need for it, is because there is the belief that its skin is actually magical and that it has the capacity to cure any kind of illness, any ailment, and potentially maybe even lift any kind of curse. Moreover, for those who are short of pocket money, it is also said that the actual creature itself is able of finding hidden treasures and gold anywhere it goes if you manage to train them.
Okay.
So, how does that sit with you guys? Because you're both relatively superstitious, aren't you?
Yeah.
If this was maybe Alex or Freddy's character, I suspect the story would have gone a completely different way. But
Are we
if
in the room? Are we in this
you are
place?
in the room, you've probably been there for a couple of minutes. I
Can I
suspect
try
you've
and
taken seats
overhear
somewhere
this
else. You can
strange
try and
conversation?
overhear this, yes. So both you, Alex, and Freddy can roll listen and see if you get a glance of this, because obviously there's background noise, so you may not necessarily notice.
So I might have reset my whole sheet back to 0 because I got stressed and
That's
confused.
okay.
So I'll roll it, but yeah. Oh, okay.
That's a good roll. Would you have put some points into listen?
I have something.
I think you had some points into listen
I
before,
do.
so I'm
So
sure you would have.
I think
Even
it's
just with
double
this,
that.
even
Yeah,
just with
'cause that's a
this,
good
that's
roll.
actually considered a critical anyway. So there you go. So Alex, you're just too distracted with the general environment. But
I'm
you know,
telling some sort of very boring story.
yeah, Luth, you know this place very well. You've, stolen things from here and from people in these parts quite a lot. And because you are also local, which of course Alex isn't, this catches your
It's hard to
your
overhear things
attention.
in a slightly different dialect, you know.
Yes. You as soon as you hear the word Ramidreju, you kind of go like, oh, shit. That's something I haven't heard in a long time. When you were little, your parents, because you have so many children, they will tell you all sorts of things to obviously keep you quiet and shut up so you could actually let them sleep. And amongst them, many of the different legends and stories from Cantabria, not just Santander, but Cantabria, since the majority of your family would have actually come from the countryside and then moved into the city. The Ramidreju is a name that you recognize, but, don't particularly know much about. So you find it peculiar, if nothing else, that they are, talking about this farther in the corner. The people that you see are a man who is very obviously not from here. A local, you may recall him if you want to roll a memory roll. You may have crossed at the end of the day. There is only about 2,000 people in this town, so, it's not that hard.
Nope.
No, you don't know him, but he seems like he could be from here. And perhaps he has a foreign friend, and that's why they're talking about this. But that's what you gather from the situation.
Okay.
Let me stop the music for a little bit while I let you guys think about what your next move is.
I'm gonna elbow you.
So anyway, as I was saying, what are you doing?
There's some nefarious plots going on over there.
Nefarious
plots, you say? And I look around very obviously. Point in their direction.
I subtly tilt my head towards the other two.
You notice everyone in the inn, which is actually quite a fair amount of people, plus these two, three in the corner.
Cool. Okay. I'm gonna go and order some extra. What would they drink in here? What's everyone drinking?
Beer, wine,
Some sort of
normal.
beer. Yeah.
Beer and wine would be the usual.
I'm gonna get three
Very
more
cheap,
beers.
watered down wine.
Yeah, or three. Get some 3 wines, and take them over to the table.
To their table.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, as
How much
this
that
is all
cost me?
happening, not a lot. Wine is quite cheap in here because we essentially export it all. So
Yeah.
you can probably pay with 1 crown. You can buy the whole round. It's not gonna be terribly expensive.
Nice. Yeah, I do that, and I sort of just about managed to get all 3 cups to the table, and I sit down next to the 3 of them.
Cool.
I'm like, next round's on me. Well met.
This all happens, and you guys already quite confused about what's happening. See these man, who is very obviously foreign because he has a clear accent, assuming that he can just sit at your table. Mike, this has been a really strange day for you. Like, you know, it's enough with one relative foreigner following you around town when you're trying to catch up with one client, but two is starting to be a bit strange.
Been looking for some chaps just like you. Some interesting conversation, something exciting going on. That's what I'm here for. And
The guy that is
this
talking to
little
them,
town
he's like,
hasn't got much of that.
"Get it
What?
quiet! You want
What?
everyone to know about it? Just shut up and listen."
Okay, well, I'm all ears.
Is he with you? He asks you, Mike. Mike?
Is Mike alive?
James?
Yeah.
What would you do when you see Alex coming through?
To myself, got a bit of money probably. If he needs if he needs help with anything.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Uh-huh.
I'm stuck in a phone. I'm stuck
Hello?
in a phone port at the moment, trying to figure out how to.
Hello, Mike.
I dropped out for a moment here.
Oh, that's right. No problem.
Yeah, I'm suspicious that some stranger sat down near me. I'm checking my purse. You know, it's
All the strangers seem to be sitting next to you today. Clearly, you have something about you that it just brings all the boys to the yard. Um,
and if I can find out what it is, I will stop it.
Excellent. Luz,
So
by the way,
what's-
are you staying at the back or are you going along with Alex in this whole thing?
I'll kind of follow, but kind of blend into the background.
Like
and
at a distance. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
fair enough. Cool.
nice.
All right then.
So what's the gossip, if you don't mind me asking? Don't mind me. I'm just a foreigner in these parts. I won't interfere with anything, but I am curious.
The man actually asks you, well, since you seem like a well-traveled fella, have you ever heard of the Ramidreju? You can roll your legends or animal knowledge and see if you
I'm
have actually
pretty
heard
good
of
in
this
legends,
before.
so let's give that a go. So I want this to be like one of my things. I just about succeed.
You have like a faint recollection of something. It's some kind of like creature that lives in the countryside, but you're not entirely sure why it's special. You reckon
Oh.
it's just from this area, but you don't know all that much about it. But yes, you've heard the name before, maybe once in passing.
Oh yes, I've heard about it many times. It's a famous local creature.
Bullshit.
Yes, it's part of the reason why I came here, because you have such wonderful flora and fauna in this part of the country.
The guy kind of looks at you like, wow, surprised and whatnot. So would you be up to catching one?
Catching one? I'm not much of a hunter, but I'd definitely be up to joining the group.
You're a
Documenting
group
it,
now, are
perhaps.
you? You're a group now. a troop. Troubadour and friends.
Yeah.
James, Mike, what say you?
Well, from a medical standpoint, it does sound interesting.
Certainly.
What
Yeah.
are you offering?
I would want part of the skin. So it's a 50-50 split. If you catch the creature, I guess it depends. Would you be more interested in finding the treasure and keeping the creature alive, or just the skin for alchemical purposes? Tell you what, if you bring the creature alive, and we can split the earnings, I'll give you 400 crowns.
Oh.
If you just bring the skin, I'll still pay you 200.
Not a
I
bad
can be
chunk of
persuaded
change
by
for
that.
folks like yourselves, I'm sure.
Well, let's just say that when you're in need, you would do whatever it takes.
Hmm.
You seem to know a lot about these. It's the best way of catching it.
Oh, I wouldn't know about that. No one's caught one before, but it's a burrowing creature. It's a mammal. You go and set a trap like you would with any weasel and anything else like that. I suspect. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not an expert on the subject. That's for sure. Otherwise, I would have caught one myself already.
Mm. I feel that all of us sitting here, I get the impression that we're all city folk of some sort or another. We might need someone more familiar with the countryside with us if we're going to attempt this. Just a suggestion.
It's just a proposal. Nothing lost, nothing gained either way. You gents can have as much time as you want to think about it. I definitely don't have anyone looking out for it, and frankly, even if I did, I wouldn't mind catching another one. So there is no time limit on this proposal. Gentleman here knows where to find me. I'm a local in his shop, and thus, even if it's years from now, please drop me a message if that happens.
Okay.
And with that, he will finish this glass of wine that you very generously bought for him, Alex, and will leave the establishment.
Mm-hmm. Cheers.
All right. What now?
Enrique Enes de Tomar, at your service. What are your names?
Agusti, Gabinus.
Ah.
At yours for the right coin.
Ah, okay. So you're a hired man, are you?
Could say that.
Uh-huh. And what do you
Yeah,
specialize in?
Bits and bobs. Acquiring.
You have already one of those acquirers of things.
Acquiring. Oh, well, you should meet my friend Lozo here. And then I look back towards the table. I'm like, oh,
helping
where have they gone?
those realise the value in life at sea.
Luth, you
Let's
would
see.
notice your name being mentioned, and
Yeah,
if you want to
kind
sort of approach and take the seat of the man who has just left,
I
you're
will do
welcome
that.
to.
Yes, I will join you.
I turn back around and you've suddenly appeared in the seat. Oh, well. Like a
I wasn't
shadow.
even sneaking, I was just walking normally. You're just very jumpy.
So
Well.
when you turn around and see Lydia suddenly behind you.
Well, very
Right.
good at your job. As far as I can tell. Not that you got me, though, eh?
Oh, instead, she's just managed to swindle, so you give her money anyway. So you two get the impression, Luth and Agusti, that you're in the same line of business, but perhaps different clientele, let's just say.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you make out of all of this? There's some very strange people surrounding you.
I think it's a sort of blend of confused and horrified.
Okay.
And you, what's your name?
I'm Ignacio.
Well
I'm-
met.
Probably extend a slightly blood-spattered hand, probably.
Yep,
Ah.
most likely. Not sure if they would actually grab it. I don't know. That's
Oh.
entirely
Oh,
up
I
to
will,
them.
yeah.
And
So,
probably wearing an equally blood-spattered apron.
So what are you, a butcher?
No, a surgeon.
Oh, not far off then.
Well, other than butchers don't tend to have to cope with animals kicking around while they're trying to take a leg off.
Maybe a bad butcher.
missing out a key step there if he is.
Well,
Now, this animal,
Oh
For a
yes, what do you
medical-
make of it?
well, from a medical point of view, I'd be quite interested in getting hold of it if he can cure all ill. That could make
Oh,
me the
yes.
most successful surgeon in the whole of Cantabria.
yeah, it
Well.
could.
Sounds like it'd be definitely worth your while.
Yeah.
I'm along for the ride, so I will assist in any way I may. Although I am more familiar with the pen than the sword, but I can turn my
Well-
hand to most things if I try.
One question though: this man that wants us to go and get it,
Yes.
he's going to pay us to go and get it when the thing is clearly worth far more than he's offering to pay us. Why do we
Ah,
need? Why do we need him?
I like how you think, my friend. Very good.
Very entrepreneurial of you. I see.
I think the
Well-
three of you have more in common than you might like to admit.
No, I don't think there's a lot in common there. But I just don't see what he's actually. We're doing this work, then he's going to buy it off us for a fraction of its worth.
Yes.
I just don't see. He's not even going to help us catch it or anything.
Hmm.
So why don't we go out without his help, try and catch it? Well, I say without his help. He's not really offered.
He's just given us the tip.
Yeah.
Would have got more than that to take such a large slice of the pie. Well, yes, I like that idea. More money for those who need it, and more adventure for myself.
Again, I'll check my roll eyes.
Mm. Well, as you guys are doing this, though, you realize that it's actually coming up to the time where some of the prayers for the deceased king are about to happen. As good Christians, you would be expected
More
to
or
go
less.
to the church, if not at this set of prayers, definitely at some prayers during the day. So it's entirely up to you whether you want to take that up now or a little bit later as the day proceeds. But just making you aware of it, because at such circumstance, the clergy will most definitely be looking, and if not the clergy, your rather noisy neighbors,
Yeah.
which are often
Yeah.
well more dangerous than the clergy.
Not that I terribly care, but from my upbringing, I know better than to, cause any trouble in denying to pray or anything like that. So, yes, I'll mention it and say I'll be going.
I'm fine with heading to the church, but if I can just briefly go via the shop and put some food down for purchase, would be ideal.
Yeah, that's relatively doable. You don't have a shop far away from the bridge, so that should be relatively easy for you to do, since you actually have to cross the bridge anyway to go towards the Ave de los Santos Mártires. So yes.
Hmm.
What about thief number 1 and thief number 2? Sorry, pirate. I suspect the church is not for the likes of you, but
Really, not done anything bad against him, but
Mhm.
they don't pay you enough, do they?
nah.
Is that the issue?
Apparently it's also a bit of a sin to
Sorry.
pirate for some reason.
What, really? Pirating is this an issue with the church? Nah, it's your imagination. How could a perfectly moral, legitimate profession be of problem for anybody?
I kind of like look at some of the various tattoos I kind of have, and I kind of just pull my sleeves down a bit and go along with it.
All right. Okay. So it seems that you're all gonna have a general look around the abbey and set for some prayers. Excellent. Well, also, since you are in the inn, I will be very adamant about this. You guys do have to have at least a meal a day in game and spend either money or resources for it. Otherwise, your chances of contracting a serious disease and dying of it increase quite severely. Or, starvation, which is the other thing that can actually kill you quite badly in the Middle Ages. So, if you don't eat now, you definitely may want to think about eating at some point in the interim period.
So how much is that going to cost?
Well, it depends how much you want to spend. Like,
Well,
what?
decent hot meal that's preferably large enough to get some leftovers that I can take.
A decent hot meal. Let's see what we consider a decent hot meal. Food. Simple meal at an inn, 5. A proper banquet at an inn, 12. Specific dishes at an inn, a potage, 3. Soup with just bread and garlic, 1. That,
Yeah, I've spent the 5,
all right.
and I shall make sure if there's meat in there, I shall segregate some of the meat and
Take
package
it
it
to
up
the
to
cat.
take. Yes,
Okay. That's
I'm
fine.
taking my cat serious.
You should.
Yeah.
It's an actual character in this game. You're supposed to feed them and
I
keep
am
them
doing.
well. Okay, yeah. Cool. So Mike is eating. Anyone else?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I will.
I'll eat as well.
Freddy?
Yes.
Cool. Well, depending on what you guys are eating, please deduct the relevant amount of money. And please be aware that you will not be particularly putting yourselves at risk of death today. Hooray!
Which was the last thing you said?
So, let me go through it again. So you have, simple things like that. You have soup, which would be just bread and garlic soup, potash. The soup would be 1 and the potash would be 3. Just a proper full-on meal would be about 5. If you want to go a bit more fancy, 12.
Mm, 12.
So you guys are gonna have a proper banquet because you are, posh guys.
Screw it. Why not?
All right, okay. The lady behind the bar goes like, "Oh wow, Dios mío, tenemos gente con dinero. We have big spenders in the house, everybody. A free round of wine for all of you." And the merry drinking starts. So let me put some appropriate music because clearly you guys want to make some people happy. So there we go. So you spend some time eating and drinking, and everyone in the inn is having a good time thanks to you guys. You're welcome to exchange any other words that you may. But while you are doing this, can you please roll me a perception check of some kind, whether it is listen or spotting or tracking, anything along those lines.
What's the like
what-
visual perception skill?
So the visual perception skill should be discovering, but that's not exactly what I suspect you guys have considered it to be. So I'm
I might
pretty much
tweak that.
I'm just any of them in this case are gonna be fine. The perception skills in English are actually a lot worse than in Spanish. So
yeah, I'm just gonna swap around some skill points here to make sure my discovering's okay. Yeah, I'll roll that. Bad.
okay, you guys so far don't pick up on anything. James, Freddy.
Oh no.
Freddy, that's fine. You can't remember when was the last time you saw so much food in front of you, Freddy.
Oh,
You're probably
so
having
excited,
yeah. Consumption is taking, place and you're actually in a happy place right now. For the first time in a really long time, you have a genuine feeling of safety that it's
Aw.
not usual for someone like you. And James, you will actually notice this as you are having a, gander and wonder while you eat, because it's quite busy, and as such, you're taking advantage of the fact that you can just munch and walk around the room and see if there is any potential game. You notice several people of, well, good standing in here, potentially people that could be employers, and there is also a little, not notice board, but a place where locals and other merchants have actually been leaving messages for odd jobs around the city. So you can also take a look around there and see if there is any easy coin that you may want to make.
I'll have a look at the notice board.
Cool. You notice that they are asking, as always, for more workers at the docks and at the shipyard. Lots of work to be done since all of this cloth industry is booming. They are currently also looking for some new people to join in the convent, a training to be scribes. And there is also a need for transportation of goods from Santander for a private journey all the way to the area of Gaunt in the lower countries.
Hmm.
And that's pretty much all you notice in the notice board.
Take the things about the dock work. Get some easy money.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you don't really know what they're expecting you to do, but yeah,
Oh, but yeah,
you know your way around ships, so maybe.
that could be a good chance that I could get a bit of coin at least.
Yeah, no problem. Cool. Other than that, there is a lot of people. That's about it. That's all you notice with that is worthy of notice. But let's see if someone actually notices you. Who's that?
Okay.
It's the other.
They may have drawn some attention when I was
That
paying
is
the
the
big
other
bucks.
conundrum. James, as you are making your way back, you see a rather good-looking woman looking at you.
Okay.
And she winks at you. She's eating with a bunch of other people.
I'll kind of like do a cheeky wink back.
She doesn't see you because she's eating with the other people.
Is there a free seat at the table? Spare seat?
As if, do you sincerely care about that? You literally just stalked a
Probably
guy through the middle of fucking town to a tavern, and now you're asking me if there is a chair at the table. Okay,
I'm a
you know
gentle-
what?
I'm
Sure, there is a
look, I'm a
chair
gentle-
somewhere that you can pull to the table, mate. Of course
gentle-
there is.
A gentleman, me.
Of course, I bet.
I'll just go over.
All right, you go over.
Oh.
You gonna introduce yourself or what?
Oh, this is where I have no game now.
The rest of you can roll to see if you notice James being an absolute dickhead right now. Like, you're very welcome to.
Just tracking.
Or listening or discovering whatever perception.
I got that.
notice. Oh, you know.
I'm turning my chair around so I can watch.
Alex.
I'm
Alex,
listening in.
yeah.
I don't give a
You are
shit.
still too overwhelmed by the food.
I'm loving this.
Mike and
Mike.
Alex, could you please actually roll your memory to see if you know who he's talking to?
Oh. Damn it.
It's a lady.
Oh.
Never seen her in your life, but she is remarkably good looking, so it's kind of making you think, what are the likes of her in this part of town, which is, relatively commoner like. So, anyway, James.
Is it some noble slumming it, do I think?
Potentially. I'm sure.
Doing my library of maritime wit.
Here comes the
decided
cheesy
to-
pickup
I
line,
decided to
ladies
pull
and
out- I
gentlemen.
decided to pull out the.
Hold on, I'm
I've
bringing
pulled
down
out
the
the-
music. I'm bringing down the music just so I can actually hear you plummet this.
I kind of look at her and I say, "You get a blind man to see."
Oh my god! No, you didn't.
How do you get a blind
Dios,
man to
qué
see?
malo, qué malo, por favor. You get the tambourine sound for being absolutely atrocious. Jesus Christ.
How do you get a blind man to see?
I don't know, but she kind of looks at you and just
By
perplexed.
ship. By ship.
Alex,
Everyone,
I lean over to your character and hand you a handful of herbs. Chew this; it helps with the pain.
everyone at the table just looks at you like, what? And they take a long sip of wine.
It's not really a pickup line. It's more of just a dad joke.
I don't know. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible either way. And it hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, chew these herbs, Lily. It'll help.
Yeah, chewing hard. Oh, bloody hell.
I'm
don't think
actually
that's just
crying at my own
herbs.
joke here.
It's you really shouldn't. Like it's this is bad. This is bad, man. Anyway, the woman who seemed so interested in you before seems to actually be looking away. But since you are now here, you notice that this woman is in company of actually a bunch of other women, about 4 of them in total. The rest of them not as good looking as her, but noticeably pretty enough.
I'm average, aren't I?
You are very average, yes.
Guess can't be
Sorry.
choosers.
Sorry, just, the facts. Everyone else in this table is, if we're literally looking at stats, as at least 2 or 3 points above you right now.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna walk over.
Uh-huh. Oh, are
And-
you gonna... What are
Oh.
you gonna do? God. Yep.
And I'm gonna like pat him on the shoulder and just like, nice try, my friend.
I kind of look and say, alright, you didn't like that one. Have you seen the, have you seen the ship with the
Someone
golden
stop him.
sails?
Someone stop him, please. Someone stop him.
It's a must. It's the
I'm
must.
the DM and I can't make him stop. Someone please do something.
I've got these other herbs that I give to sick dogs.
Yeah, I bet you do. My goodness gracious.
I'm a hill plague.
I'm gonna like pull you away from them.
For everyone's sake.
What are you
As,
doing? What are you doing? I'm just getting started. I'm loving it.
as
That's
you're
what we're
doing
worried
that,
about.
As you're doing that,
Go ahead and
Alex,
take a seat.
actually, one of the women grabs over to his arm and says, "It's okay. You can leave him here. We're not picking up your sense of humor. You're clearly not from around these parts, are you?"
Is it that obvious?
The accent sort of gives it away.
No, because of my wit.
It's alright. No offense was meant, and we take it. And who is your friend? They kind of look at you and they offer you a seat. You can join the table if you want.
Cool, me?
Instead of barging in, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh well.
do?
I'm Enrique MS de Tomar at your service.
They kind of look at each other. Ooh, you're also from foreign parts.
Ah yes.
What
From the
brings you to
Kingdom of
Santander?
Portugal. Ah well, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Seeing the sights, this lovely town. Are you locals?
You could say that. They kind of look. They give each other like a complicitous look. Very obvious. Obviously, not something they're trying to hide.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm getting to remember where I know them from.
Do you
Ah, I
mind?
see. So what's your line of work, if you don't mind me asking?
You know, different things that they go around the table. One of them says that she runs a shop, actually just on the outside of the city, in passing the actual city walls in the area of new development. She sells herbs and other vegetables that come from the countryside to weary travelers. Another
Nice.
one of them says that she's actually a milkmaid from the outskirts of Santander, and she comes to the city to bring the produce because her parents are elderly and they can't do that on their own.
Hmm.
Woman number 3 tells you that she actually is a seamstress, or at least she's learning to be a seamstress. She's only taken up the trade in the last few months with an older woman that is teaching her all the tricks of the trade, and she hopes to be able to set up her own workshop in maybe deeper inner Castile to really exploit the merino wool trade that is coming from
Ah,
those parts.
very
And the last
nice.
one, the one that had originally winked at James, the one who perhaps out of all of them is more noticeably prettier, she tells you that she actually is related to one of the most prominent soldiers here that work at the castle, and as such, she's a courtier that spends some
Hmm.
time in Santander, but sometimes farther out in the province and farther down to Burgos, all the way in the main city areas
Yeah.
of Castile.
Ah, interesting. Yeah.
But that she was born and raised in here, and that she's a distant relative of the Escalante family.
Ah, very nice. Well, I'm quite curious, actually. Can you tell me what's the situation on the inside there after the news of the king? How's everyone taking the news?
Kings die all the time, but you know how it goes. It's barely a quiet day in these parts when a king or another die. There is serious talk about what could potentially happen now that Pedro is king. The other lady of the late king, Eleanor of Guzman, she is a woman with power and she has more children to
Hmm.
care for than the Lady Maria of Portugal. So, who knows? Things could get, rough very quick.
Yes, well, definitely.
Too
could be
early to
interesting
say,
times.
but whichever the case, trouble will really not come to Santander. We're too far removed and too important. So,
Hmm.
when the disputes
Seems-
happen, they will all happen farther down south.
Yes, well, it seems a good place to be.
It's the best place to be, one of them says.
Yeah.
You
Well,
get to meet interesting gentlemen like yourselves, and you get to
Ah.
enjoy the sea and the land all in one place. It's all a pretty good life, if I say so. We were actually real lucky, despite all of that plague and pestilence and whatever. Look at how well the city is doing. That is good management, that is.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely getting used to being close to the sea. It's such a long time. I've been here for a few weeks now, and I'm from somewhere not too close to the shore myself. But no, the sea air definitely seems to do you some good.
Yes. Now, are you gentlemen not going over for prayers?
Oh, well, we were planning to, take our time about it. No rush. God isn't going anywhere.
They all hysterically laugh at the same time, and they sort of look at the poor Catalan man who is now kind of made an absolute fool of himself. What about you? You two know each other? Have you come here together?
Oh, well, we just
yeah.
met recently.
But no, seeing as they're seeing as he's kind of like hitting up with them, I'll be like, yeah, I know him. That's right.
Oh my
Oh.
god, that is.
Old, what's your name again? Old Enrique. We go way back.
Well, we met fairly recently, but yes, I'm sure this Becoming good
Yeah, I know
friends
it's only,
already.
I know it's only felt like I know it's only felt like 5 minutes, mate. But you haven't got to be modest. But yeah. No, I think if he's ladies, who would like any company to the church, we can oblige.
We're not planning on going to the church just yet.
Oh, thank God. I mean.
Oh, you make this too easy. It's just...
Shit.
Oh my god! Did I just roll an
Awesome.
8? That's a critical. All right,
What are you
James.
rolling for?
James, can you please roll your irrationality?
Don't. I haven't got any. Yeah, I do think.
Yeah, you'll have at the very top
it's up
the
here,
significant
yeah.
characteristics. You're quite irrational, aren't you?
Oh, shh.
What's
God's
your value?
sake. Thought it was meant to be good.
Wow, yeah, and you somehow managed to screw this over. James, you're starting to be fascinated by these women. There's something about them, you're not entirely sure what, but whatever they kind of want you for, you're kind of happy to go with it.
Okay.
There's almost
That's
like crispness in the air. Sulfury, if I may say.
So. Okay.
Alex, you can roll your irrationality as well, but it's probably not going to affect you.
Oh. Well, my irrationality is really low.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. So does that mean that this would be harder for me?
No, it should be easier.
Or is that how it works? 'Cause I can roll rationality or irrationality.
Your rationality, yes.
Rational. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I just about fail.
you're not entirely sure what's going on here. It's baffling you a little bit. Something seems shifty, but well, you just think this is probably just women being women. Frankly.
Oh well, yes. Just strange locals.
Strange locals indeed.
Yeah.
The other two left behind at the table, you notice that these people are getting involved with some women. Would you like to do anything?
Yeah, I'm thinking this is my opportunity to get away and get back to my cat.
Truthful enough. You can just walk up and leave, or you can do it stealthily. It's entirely up to you.
I think nonchalant, not even bothering with the all-covering whistle, and just we'd already said we were going to go prayers, so I shall go feed cat and go to prayers.
All
And
right.
whatever these two are getting up to,
All right then.
on their own body parts, be it.
Okay. Fair enough. Good. Well, Freddy, you see the man on the other side of the table, literally
I will probably
standing
say,
up and going away.
I'll probably say this looks like a good opportunity to get moving.
I'm gonna go to church with him.
Okay.
If you permit me, I will
Yeah, of
escort.
course.
Cool.
We will have to go via my shop, and I'll introduce you to my cat.
Yep.
Oh, lovely.
That
I'm
seems
more
fair
interested
to
in
me.
that
So
than
yeah, you guys
some
can
people
just
flirting.
leave.
Yeah, well,
Bye bye.
you can meet the
Awesome.
parties.
Well, you guys head down to the shop. I don't know if you would have been in a shop like this in an non-business capacity, Luth, but it looks like a pretty good shop. You can see that although this guy is, from a social standing, probably not that different from you. You're very confident he's a local too, and quite, modest for that sense. He clearly must know a thing or two, because the things in this shop, you recognize them as valuable enough that if you were to, acquire some of them, you could make some profit.
I will show you my bloodletting tool.
But you also notice a very cute cat.
Yeah, I
Mrs.
mean,
Patches,
can I pet the cat?
You can pet
Is
the
she-
cat.
is she agreeable?
Yep. I will ask you to roll an empathy for that.
Uh-oh.
Who? Me or
You,
Yes.
I assume.
fuck? Um,
Yeah, you don't seem to know how to do the cat, but the cat, which is incredibly cute, starts rubbing off onto your hand and purring.
I'm very happy. This is why I play games. I can't pet cats in real life because allergies.
Oh,
I will
Aw.
pet them in games.
life is cruel.
I know.
I'll explain to Parches that we have to go to church, but we'll be back soon, and I'll give her the meat I took off my plate.
Fair enough. You do
Hmm.
realize that this person is actually talking to the cat as if it's, a human being that understands things.
Eh,
fair.
It's,
I'm
it's
not one to
entirely up to
judge.
you to, it's not a. You don't think it's particularly weird, but the fact that it gives so many details seems a little bit unusual. But
Just a
that's
very
fair.
matter-of-fact voice as well, not like a cutesy one. Just like
Yes, no, it's not. Oh, little patches, I'm going now. No, he's like, yeah, all right. See you later, mom. Kind of thing. Cool. Well, you fed the cat, and now I guess you're gonna go to the church.
Yep. Yep.
Cool. Meanwhile, in the tavern.
we're also hoping to pet some cats.
Oh my god.
Seriously? Seriously? Wow. Wow. Okay. Never mind. Okay. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry.
You will be.
Do these ones bite as well?
So, I don't know what I was gonna say anymore. That's just
I'm sorry.
you should be. By the way, just to check, I have about half an hour or so. Are we all
Okay.
still good? Okay,
Should be long
Yeah.
enough.
awesome, cool. Yes. Something is happening with these women. You're not entirely sure what, but something is happening.
Intriguing.
They keep on asking you lots of questions, particularly now that you've opened that door about your beliefs. They kind of ask you, like, have you been ever ordained a priest? Do you carry holy
Priest.
water with you?
Oh
Have
no, nothing
you-
like that. My father might. He's a knight of a holy order, but not myself. No.
They kind of look at each other and they kind of look back at you, and then they look at James. What about you?
Me?
You cut out.
Me?
Can't hear you now.
You're kind of cutting out a bit.
Yeah, no, so yeah, Discord was playing up a little bit. Could you repeat that? Sorry, it was
Um,
dropping in and out a little bit.
Literally, Alex sort of name dropped his dad, the religious Templar, and the the women seem
Uh-huh.
very
Yeah.
surprised.
Oh,
Oh god.
You didn't see this coming?
The women seem very surprised, and they're asking, "What
I'm
about
thinking of one
you?"
brain at the moment.
They ask, "What about you? What is your background?"
I'm
It's a shame that James knows that and not Agustin.
Yeah.
So,
I'm trying to think how to kind of like.
you're gonna try to biggin yourself up, aren't you?
I'm an enlightener.
Huh?
What?
An enlightener.
What does that mean?
help.
They seem very
I help.
curious.
Yeah, I travel around. Actually, I travel overseas and I help people realize what's truly important. Help them.
Hmm.
I enlighten them realise how fortunate they are.
Uh-huh.
Could
Or in
you?
times
And how
of
fortunate
strife,
you could be.
they realise, that wealth and materials aren't really worth much to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this all
And
sounds vaguely religious, my friend, but
it does. Can you please tell us more? Is this like something from where you come from? Never really like. Is this something that's come from the east? They ask quite. You're not Muslim, are you?
Have you ever? No, it says
Jewish?
Oh no, I'm Christian.
Oh, you are.
No, what? Maybe Christian's wrong one.
You don't know your own religion?
What religion are you?
Are you legit
Well,
asking?
I can be whatever you want me to be.
Are you legit asking that
5 minutes, you'll be
question?
praying to them all.
Are you legit gonna be asking that question, James?
No, I'm gonna be saying, have you ever visited the East?
3 of them sort of just nod. The other one says that she actually was for a short while in the south of France, but
It's just about east.
not, that's as far east as she's ever been, but she's heard things about the East.
So it's not really a Eastern practice. It's more of a worldly, like a worldly.
They seem puzzled and yet compelled, so they require more details about this absolute gibberish that you're talking about. So, given this moment in time, I'm actually gonna need some details about what the fuck you're supposed to be trying to convince them that you preach or worship. So please actually roll some communication skill. Let's see what you actually have.
Put anything in.
Because I suspect at this moment of your day
Eloquence.
is probably the wine speaking more than anything.
Something like eloquence, maybe.
What do you want me to roll for?
Give me 1 sec. I'm just deciding what's gonna be the most appropriate. Eloquence. Yeah, let's go with eloquence.
Okay.
Assuming that'll just be your.
Oh, go on.
Oh my god.
Oh wow!
Oh my god, I nailed it.
Is your eloquence that bad?
Which is like 1.
It cannot be 1 because you have more in
It's-
communication than that. It
It'll
must be at
your
least
communication.
yeah. So you've
Must be with
passed.
communication.
You've
So, yeah,
passed
I've got-
that.
I've got any
Okay, cool.
communication.
Okay, so now please explain in a way that everyone listening can comprehend what is it that you're actually trying to sell in here, please. What are you talking about?
Well, maybe is this still in character?
No, in general, as
Oh,
a yeah, please explain yourself.
I'm just trying to say that I'm a pirate.
But in a much more fancy way.
Well, if you think about it, like, either die or they give me their stuff. They always choose to give me their stuff. So they obviously value their life above anything else. And I help them realise that.
Because the way you're putting this forward, it almost makes you sound like you're some form of cult leader. People don't need valuable things in life. You just help them get rid of them. Like if you're freeing them from their sins or some shit. Just saying. So I will. Well, it's not the same. For the purpose of this game, it's very much not the same. So I will give you the chance to clarify exactly how you're wanting to come across in this,
Okay.
so that there are no potential misunderstandings.
Okay. Well, then in that case, I say to him like, okay, well maybe I was a bit too blasé with it. I'm kind of more of a mercenary, a well-to-do mercenary, but yeah. Tend to spend a good portion of my time helping those with money. Gain better footholds in life. Often through military means.
They sort of look at each other and they seem disappointed. Oh, so you're just a criminal.
Oh no, not a criminal, not a criminal.
Well, excuse me, sir. The way you're talking, it is criminal-like. We thought for a moment maybe you had like, I don't know, some form of other belief than you know.
Well,
And they kind of point towards the church. It just seemed so mysterious.
No, I am. I'm still very spiritual. I only do this to make a bit of money.
Oh, so you are a churchgoer then?
Yeah.
Oh.
I say that as my eyes kind of shift like sideways, like yeah.
They actually notice that. Hey, interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
very
we have to get back to our daily affairs and business to run and whatnot, and of course prayers to say. But if you gentlemen happen to be free this evening at the Sol de los Muertos kind of time, maybe we could see each other again. For the sake of context, as neither of you are locals, you have no idea what El Sol de los Muertos means, but you both know what Sol means, which is sun, and muerto is the word for dead.
Death.
So the
yes,
dead
the son of death. Yeah.
the son of the dead is the reference that they are casually throwing away in here, which you can only guess means something or another.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
sure.
be there.
Yeah.
Can I don't know, is there anything I can roll to try and get a read on them?
Yeah, you can roll.
To...
You can roll your empathy for sure.
Yeah.
And let me see what else you have that may be useful.
I'm just like wondering, like, why are they asking about religious things? That's not that interesting.
Yeah, your empathy is probably gonna be the most helpful thing here.
Okay. Well, I'll succeed.
Cool. So what did you wanted to find out, sorry?
I'm just kind of like, do they seem like genuinely curious? Like, do they seem terribly religious to me?
They seem genuinely curious to find out whether you are that religious or not. And when you told them about your, father and that, they seem to be literally eating it up on a silver platter. They were super enthusiastic. They were not faking a single bit of that. No, sir. All 100% legit.
What kind of enthusiasm?
Like very, very keen enthusiasm. Like
they're licking their lips.
Almost. Almost ecstatic. Yeah.
That kind of like like that kind of puts my character off a little bit, because like he's not into the idea of like using his dad for clout. You wouldn't
have known that.
Well, he doesn't bring it up very often, but whenever he thinks of something religious, like the first thing that goes to mind is his dad. But apart from that, he doesn't.
One from Freud.
Yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, so he's kind of just like, oh, okay. Don't want them asking about my dad all night, you know.
Yeah, I bet. Well, James, you have no fucking idea. You just think these chicks are into you guys for some reason, and that's it.
Mhm.
That's all you've got. That's all you got, mate. All you got.
Okay. All right.
And
we'll,
on that
we'll
note,
bid them farewell.
Yeah, they've left now, and you've now noticed that your friends acquaintances have also left.
No, definitely friends.
So
I bought them
it's
all a round
entirely
of
up to
drinks.
you.
They're definitely friends now. They have
Fair
to be.
enough. Fair enough. Jolly good. Well, it's entirely up to you whether you decide to actually carry on with the plan that you had come up with. If you actually remember what that plan was,
No.
you can roll your memory for that purpose. Then.
Oh, I failed.
You know that you guys had sort of agreed you were gonna do something, but
Well, we were going to hunt the thing down, whatever it was called. I can't remember the
yeah,
name.
but straight after this you were gonna do something and
Go
you
and
just
pray.
couldn't recall. James, what
pray.
is your
I'm gonna be on my knees for something, but that's about it.
Uh-huh.
My memory's just as bad as Alex's.
yeah, but your perception, you guys literally don't recall what the hell you were supposed to be doing now. And as such, well, never mind. People on the other side of town, which know what they're doing, and are probably
gonna go
not about
pray.
to be
It's
dragged
fine.
into something
Yeah.
into something strange.
I know
So
that.
you're now back
We're going to head to the
in
church.
heading back to the church, and well, Freddy and Mike, I'm gonna say that you have been doing your prayers like good boys for quite some time now, but well, not so much the case for everyone else. So
We're on our way.
Let me.
Better late than never. Oh.
Okay, so you are in a rather crowded abbey, I would say.
Sneak in at the back.
This, by the way, is an actual painting from the Spanish Middle Ages in Catalonia, in case that you guys are interested to know where that came from. It is 100% thematic. The abbey, unfortunately, in Santander is not terribly that impressive inside, but there is a crypt where the relics of the martyr saints are kept, Saint Demetrius and Saint Celedonius. Since you are here, I'll tell you what the story of these two martyr saints is, because it's quite important. So, and the Roman historian here may recall what these two gentlemen were, popular for. But in any case, Saint Demetrius and Saint Celedonius were actually two martyr saints. They were killed, I believe, in the 3rd century AD in the central plains of Spain, in the area of Calahorra, for being Christian at a time where this was still very much persecuted and controversial in Rome, and particularly in Spain. So they got beheaded. Their heads were actually kept as a sign of their martyrdom, which is what has allowed them to become now saints in the in later years. And as the advance of the Muslim troops happened through Iberia hundreds of years ago, the relics were essentially sent away from the city as a way of trying to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
They were put on a stone ship, if you can actually believe it, and they were set over into the Mediterranean, and then eventually they went around the entire peninsula until they made their way into the city of Santander, where the ship presented the heads, and since then they've been kept here. So it's quite a ceremonious place. And yet, it can't help but giving you some very strange vibes. overall, maybe it's the sheer agglomeration of people, maybe something else. But yeah, there you are. Anything that you would like to do while you're in the cathedral church abbey place?
What do everyone else doing?
Praying silently.
Yeah, we'll try and sneak in at the back and not get noticed for being late.
People definitely notice you.
Damn.
In fact, your friends notice you coming in, and they sort of give you a quiet wave.
No, I did the prayer equivalent of don't know them, never seen them, nothing to do with us.
Yeah, I join in at the back and just like go through the motions. This is all
Okay.
like muscle memory from my upbringing.
Mhm.
I'll be wearing
Pray.
my I'm pious, I am tabard.
En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo. Amen.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're
that's
all
the one.
supposed to say amen after that. What is this bullshit?
That's the one.
Let's try that one more time, shall we? En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo. Amen.
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 Wow, you are going to go far in the Christian Middle Ages in Spain. Yes, 100%. Chances of survival slashed in half. Good. Yeah, keeping up appearances like the good pagan atheists, whatever you
Pagan
guys
atheists.
are. I don't know. Just blanket cover for the bulk of you all. Yeah.
Hey, I accept that my character is Christian. I just don't. I just don't accept them. You know.
That's fair. That's fair. Good. Well, you struggle through your prayers because apparently you guys have not been to church more than once in your lifetime, and yeah, that's pretty much what happens. Now, prayers for this kind of thing can kind of go on for quite some time. So I will skip through all of that unless you want to do anything since you're in the church. There's people with money in here for those of you who may find the opportunity profitable. Other than that, of course, there are important relics, treasuries, etc. But well, there is a lot of people here, so if you're gonna try to be shifty, it may cost you. So unless you are particularly in the business of getting more business out of the church, I suggest that we move on to after prayers.
Yes.
Is everyone cool with that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, you guys all start sort of leaving the abbey very slowly and have a chance to catch up if you want to, now that you've all come together. It is starting to, well, be getting not super late, but definitely, getting on with the day. You spend quite a long time in that tavern without realizing, and these prayers have taken quite an awful amount of time. So, up to you.
What sort of time are we looking?
Well, this would be probably joining in with the Vísperas, and that happens at around 6 o'clock. So, since the sun will be going down soon, I suspect you guys are about 7:30, no later than 8. So,
bedtime.
getting close to, yes, getting close to.
I mean,
Are you two gonna want to
be going-
ask the locals the Sol de los Muertos reference?
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Not sure if I'm going to go and meet these women, but yeah. So
I asked I asked Mike, the settlement, they mentioned this, and he seems to be from around here. What did they mean by what do you mean?
Does that have any meaning at all?
Oh yes, plenty of meaning to you and to Freddy as well. This is literally the very, very Cantabrian way of sort of referring to the last moment of the day, like when the sun is literally going into sunset, and the time of the dead awakens. So pretty much the very, very last moments of sunlight that come through in the in the moment of sunset. It's definitely not something that you that you had heard in a while, maybe, but it's quite typical, at least in the province, to have kind of like a quick prayer, just like one litany or something, looking towards the sunset as this is happening. But yeah, this is kind of the reference comes from the fact that as these very last moments of light come through, the dead are supposed to return back to life or something.
Yeah.
So that's the reference. And of course, if someone tells you that they're meeting you at El Sol de los Muertos, that means that at last light.
Okay.
Which
Did
will
they
be
say
happening.
where?
They said outside of the inn at last light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back here, Al Sol de los Muertos.
That's what they said, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of on the fence about meeting them.
But anyway, now you know the actual, saying and what it means to the locals. So something else that you've gained.
Yeah.
Whichever the case, whether you're going to go and figure out shenanigans or whether you are indeed going to bed, those of you who are not local will have to make a decision as to where indeed you are going.
I'm gonna go talk to Luz and be like, "Hey,
Well,
so those
you're all outside, so you can have this
Okay.
conversation quite happily.
yeah, so those slightly odd women we were talking to, one of them was quite wealthy. If you come with me, I'll keep her busy, and might be a nice little payday for you. A little bit of excitement at Sol de los Muertos.
First of all, what women?
Yeah.
Back in the tavern.
Luth didn't see them at all.
I just remember food so much.
Oh well,
It
you're welcome for
was
that.
good food.
Well.
What's happening?
Someone's. Oh, I think Mike's dropped.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well. Yeah. I was talking to some women, and they were very interested in asking me about all these religious questions, and a bit tiresome.
What's the risk, do you think?
Well.
I mean, obviously you know that I swindle people. However,
yes.
I will only do it to people who I think deserve it. Like I thought you did.
Right.
And then you turned
Honesty.
out alright. So
brutal honesty.
Right. Well, that's fair. Well, this.
I'll come with you. I'll make an assessment from a distance.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Augusti, are you coming then?
Hello.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're back.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, sorry about that. Don't know what.
I think you've dropped off roll 20, by the way.
Yeah.
Or at least I can't see you anyway. But that's fine.
I'll log off roll 20 and log back in.
That's okay. No problem. Cool. So you're gonna try and swindle these women.
I'll come with you.
You're
Augusti,
James.
you seemed interested.
James, yeah.
Admittedly, they didn't seem terribly interested in you, but I'll do you a favor. I'll come along. I'll help.
Bed's a bed, mate.
Feminism.
didn't exist back then.
Wow. And as such, you've just this. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
if you wanted to be, if you want to set it in historical
Yeah,
times,
100%,
pick and
100%.
can't pick and choose.
Yeah. Yep. Got it.
I'm also thinking at the moment that I'm probably getting tired. The drink's probably wearing off, and probably actually bed is a bed.
Mhm.
Probably part of me thinking, I just want to sleep as well. Probably got a comfy bed.
All right. Mike, what are you going to do? These three people seem to want to go and have another chat with those women who have actually offered to meet them after at
I'll
El Son de
I'll
los
be honest.
Muertos.
I'm kind of not really interested in meeting these women.
Really? I would not have
Really?
guessed.
I would kind of more like to go back, maybe make a nice cup of herbal tea and sit down with my cat for a while, and probably even lock and bolt the door.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. Well,
Um,
we'll see you in the morning, and we'll prepare for our hunt.
Yes, would you like to settle a
uh,
place as to where you're gonna meet or something, or what?
I'm gonna meet you outside your shop.
Okay, do that.
Oh, you have
At
a
what
shop.
time?
Oh, very good.
Right, and I'll wish you good something or other.
Uh huh. Thank you. Have a good night.
And I shall walk away moderately briskly.
And as a good Christian, who I'm actually thinking that you actually are, Mike, you will of course say goodbye by saying the right words, which is con Dios, with God. Go with God
Yeah.
in in majesty and protection. So yeah, just leaving that out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since we are approaching the sort of end of the session, I will, however, walk you to the jardín en el que os habéis metido, campeones, porque vamos. You've just
Okay.
scored a big one here for some reason. You go back, indeed, wait a few moments around the outside of the inn. There's barely anyone around, and maybe 5 to 10 minutes later, you start hearing footsteps and a cloaked figure, completely black robe, cannot see face, cannot really see clothes or anything, comes walking towards your way. And you hear some other footsteps happening too behind you, and same situation, until 4 figures, completely hooded, black robed, cloaked, in front of you appear. One of them removes the hood ever so slightly, and you recognize that as the prettier of the 4 women.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you came, and you brought a friend.
Not yet.
I was wondering if
James.
for God's sake. Shut up. I was wondering if Freddy's character would be standing
I'm
off
in
to the
the-
side somewhere,
Yeah, I'm not with
Observing.
them.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
observing from a distance.
I'm just vibing, you know.
Fair enough. Then she takes that back.
Yeah.
Excellent. Great. Did you end up going to mass?
Oh, of course. We were only slightly late, you know.
A great time.
I can't.
Great little gig. That is
Did
made
he
of
actually just say a great time?
He did. I heard him.
Oh my. Oh, why did I decide this was a good idea? Why did I put myself up for this? Oh my goodness. Oh god. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went to my nan's funeral the other week and had a great time.
Yeah. You know,
You know,
Similar vibes.
as you do.
should have played vampire, my guys. Anyway,
Why? What's
Anyway,
wrong?
well, that's very much up to what you guys do next. Good. Well, the women said, well, if you would like to keep us company, then we have a place that we would like to show you. Would you like to follow us? It's just on the outskirts of town.
Well, what's with the interesting clothing here?
It is it's dark. It's about to
cold
get
night.
really cold. You're obviously not from Santander, but here, when the wind changes about and the night settles, it may be spring, but as we say locally, hasta el 40 de mayo no te quites el sayo, and therefore, until well entered into June, you don't really lose your cloak. You could catch a cold, and then who's gonna go do all my business? Are you gonna
surely
go do all my business?
you can afford a bit of color, surely.
For the sake of context, I will remind you, Alexander,
Sorry.
that black is actually one of the most expensive. Black, actual, pure, full-on black, is one of the most expensive dyes of the Middle Ages and will be so in
Okay.
the Renaissance,
Uh-huh.
because otherwise, the vast majority of the time, cloaks, particularly if they're made of wool, are just the color of the general sheep. And
Yeah.
although there are black sheep in there, the vast majority of farmers who are incredibly superstitious would not be that inclined. So most wools are a dark gray, a dark brown, off white, etc. For it to be pure black like the night, it must have cost a pretty penny.
Oh, okay.
And you would know that in character, but yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, a lot more suited for shady businesses at night.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to check that I could hear them.
Yes, you can very much indeed. So you catch the whole conversation, everything that's going on. You know it.
Cool. Can I roll something to see if I'm suspicious of them?
Yes, 100%. It will be your human empathy. I will check to
okay.
see if you have anything else, but I'm pretty confident. I'm
Gonna
pretty
message
confident
you.
that's probably
Mine,
gonna
I'm
be
gonna-
the best.
Are you sure it's not sleight of hand? Because that's my highest.
I'm confident you're not stealing
Yeah.
something right now, so perhaps
yeah, me
not.
Too. Okay.
Perhaps not.
Yeah.
Not the
That's...
worst roll.
Yeah.
You, I mean, it's not. You know that they are 100% right. You've seen plenty of people, particularly in your line of business or at the time of the day where you do your line of business, wearing very thick dark cloaks, and it is cold in this town. So it's no exaggeration. If this woman has money, then it's no surprise that she would have a pretty neat, nice cloak, and maybe some for her friends too. Does it seem a little bit strange? Perhaps, but then again, people with money.
Mm. Yeah.
You know what there is outside of town, though. So from a local knowledge point of view, you know that there is the Arrabal neighborhood. So that's where people with money are. And then there is a couple of, slums and suburbs.
And they did say they were from the outskirts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Where are you planning to take us?
Just outside of the city walls.
Yes.
There's a spot where we hang out. There is a lot more inconspicuous, let's just say.
Okay.
This town is really like, real fun for gossip. Someone, says something here, and on the other side of the city, they know it in less than 5 seconds. So it's always better to keep, business on the quiet, particularly, for people like us. And she looks at you specifically, recognizing that you come from places and know things.
Okay, well, lead the way.
You're actually gonna go with this woman.
I'm gonna roll my I think my super kind of more superstitious mind is probably ringing like a slight alarm bell at this point.
Not entirely sure, James. I think that by this moment in time, you're thinking too much with one part of your body that doesn't actually do the thinking. So I'm gonna say that
yeah.
you...
But I also I'm just thinking like the tales of sirens and stuff.
about what? 4 women that you were clearly trying to hit off earlier in the tavern? You're gonna have to convince me harder than that, mate.
Now they're trying to like drag you somewhere. Friends.
Considering that in this
I was
game there
getting
is
in
not
with me, now they're getting me
intelligence,
to go with them.
there is no intelligence, and the intelligence is that of the player.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
I will allow it on the condition that you perform a successful luck roll.
It's for luck.
Mm.
Or that you spend luck points that I consider appropriate for this situation.
How do I do a luck roll?
At the very
So,
top.
yeah, on your secondary characteristics, there is a button there for luck. So you
I've
can
only
just,
got one box filled in.
yeah,
Yeah, that's okay.
that's how it should be.
Yeah, you
you've-
rolled over your luck.
Probably not great.
You've not passed your luck. You are definitely more hesitant, but it may be the wine talking and the fact that you've been drinking for a long time. But that bit is still very much in your mind. So maybe
Okay,
you're just
fair
gonna walk a little bit more wary than before. Because, yeah, maybe the vibe has changed a little bit, but nothing directly threatening has, happened just yet.
I'm thinking for now, I want them to lead the way,
Mhm.
and then I want to see like what sort of areas we pass by.
Okay, cool.
Somewhere maybe that might be easier for my friend over there to sneak a hand into her pocket, and
Cool.
and then we can make our getaway.
There you go, Parches. You wouldn't believe what those other people are up to and where they've gone.
So, let's just see. What is the tool that allows me to point to the area where you guys are standing?
I'm
If you
trying-
go to
well,
the
you can
arrow,
you can just click and it does like
Yeah,
it
for
does a
some
sort of
reason.
thing on the map.
just do a long press.
Oh yeah, there we go. For some reason it didn't like. Yeah, so you start. You were here.
Yeah.
And you're gonna start walking to here. You're literally gonna pass the gate that goes straight out through the Franciscan convent and towards the area of the outskirts.
Okay. I mean, it's still not super late yet. I mean, the sun is
No.
going down, I guess. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we pass by some, like, decent little clusters of people or something.
Yeah, there is people here and there. It's
Okay.
quieter, but it's not dead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to try and give Liz a subtle, like, wink. Just as the go-ahead sort of thing. As we kind of approach a slightly busier street.
Sure. Yep. You go through Calle del Mar, which is not Calle del Mar. You will be actually right here. And this would be the busiest part of town currently, since
Mhm.
more people may be going to prayers and coming through. And of course, you're just in front of the shipyard, so there is going to be more movement of people in that area. So that is where that will be. Luth, you gonna do something now, or you gonna keep on following them?
I'll keep following, I think.
Okay. Cool. Well, eventually you reach the
Do it
doorway
while there's an opportunity
to leave
before we have to leave.
the city. So, are you gonna follow them?
I'm too suspicious. I don't want to pickpocket them because I'm suspicious of them.
Oh,
So
I was
I'm
hoping
just-
you'd, like, walk past amongst a little crowd and do your thing and then be on your way. But never mind. You got too scared.
Hey, I know when when to risk it for a biscuit. I'm very suspicious of these women. If I do it and I get caught, I'm more worried about my welfare. To you, but I'm not gonna pickpocket.
Cool.
Or to witness if something bad does happen to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I'll sit in the bushes and watch, and I'll
There's a
Cool.
name for people like you.
Well, you will actually be leading down towards this part of town, which to begin with, you actually think is leading you towards the Arrabal, towards the up and coming sort of part of the town. But as the farther you go down, the more you notice that they start veering off the actual map itself.
Okay, before we go like too far away from it, I was going. Oh, I thought we were heading up there.
Yes, just outside of the city walls by the Arrabal. I said around the suburbs. That's where the suburbs continue, and indeed, the suburbs do continue that way.
Oh.
This is just, let's just say, a more segregated part of it because there is the people with money. There is other areas around there that have, other problems.
Okay.
Anyone else wanting to do anything?
I just want to see what happens at this point.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Jolly. Okay, well,
Oh my god.
I must say, I did not think this was gonna happen this time around, guys, but apparently I cannot have a quiet game with you lot. So, here we go, shall we? Well, whatever.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
no.
As you continue walking, you start seeing a gathering of people around the fire. The closer you get to the gathering of people around the fire, the more that you can notice people wearing the same hoods. It's almost like there was a party and everybody got the same memo and you didn't.
I'm gonna
There
like
seems
kind of
to be-
slow down as I see
There
more and
seems
more
to
people.
be someone in the middle doing some pretty hardcore chanting and dancing. This person is actually not hooded. It is a woman who is borderline naked with a beautiful red dress who must have cost a fortune. Her clothes rather disheveled, her hair completely loose. Now, for the sake of context, women in the Middle Ages in most Christian societies, particularly if they were married women or in general Christian women in good society, would have their hair either covered up or at least braided or in a bun, something. For it to be completely loose, it's something you would only really do at home. Or, if you're a prostitute or something like that. So this is looking interesting for sure. And that's where we're gonna leave it. Because I wasn't really prepared for this shit.
Why not? Huh?
So congratulations.
What, you're not expecting me not to take the bait?
Frankly, I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, that's where we're gonna leave it because it's time. And otherwise,
Yeah.
after this, something will happen for which we definitely not have time for. So,
Okay.
very good. This is the end of the first session of Aquelarre with an Aquelarre included in it. Amazing. Thank you, everybody, for making
you.
things weird for the DM. Particularly James. The awkward award of player goes definitely to James today. James, you're a champ. You've yep, you are something. Don't know what that something is, but you are something. Good. Well, and on that note, that is the end of the game today. Make sure that you tune in for part 2 in the very near future, provided that I don't decide this was a very bad idea and never again DM again. So, thank you.